Today I want to talk about what it means to make it in the music industry.
Before we get into the video, I want to tell you about Supertape. Supertape is a website builder specifically for bands and musicians that automatically keeps your music, your merch, your videos, and your tour dates up to date. It's fast, affordable, and a huge upgrade to your boring link in bio. Check us out at supertape.com. All right, let's get back into it.
I gotta be honest, I really dislike this phrase and the whole concept in general. Since I was a kid dreaming of playing stadiums, it's been a thing. A clearly defined, binary definition of my worth as a musician. Did you make it or did you fail to make it? It's a lot of stress to think in those terms, especially today. The truth is, music in the streaming age has been devalued in a lot of ways. Streaming platforms pay fractions of a penny per play, and that once fabled record deal is no longer the golden ticket that it used to be. For many artists, the traditional paths to success just don't make sense anymore. But there's a flip side to this. The internet has opened up so many opportunities for artists to carve their own paths. What it means to make it might not be what it was 10, 20, or 30 years ago, but everybody's journey and idea of success is different. And making it almost always seems to be related to money and how close we are to the music when we make that money. But does it really matter whether we're up on stage as the star of the show, behind a console pushing buttons, or teaching and inspiring students? This question really got me thinking about all of the ways that we as musicians can make a living doing and being around music. Some are pretty obvious, and others are a little adjacent. To me, they're all valid. Music is music. And if that means that I get to play music, talk about it, or be around other musicians for my livelihood, I'm happy. And to me, that's making it. In my role at Supertape, I get to meet and talk with so many amazing artists. A lot of them are making their living from music. They're embracing every opportunity to piece together work and income from what they're passionate about and what they're good at. These two things, in my opinion, are the keys to choosing how you make a living in the music industry today. And as I researched the many ways that musicians can earn a living, I thought it'd be helpful to share a list. While it might seem crass to focus on money, the goal is to point out opportunities that we might not have considered and redefine making it in a way that doesn't require us to be the center of attention, which is a bit of a departure from the traditional concept. Some of these are super obvious, and others are newer or just ones I hadn't considered. I think the best way to look at this is like a buffet or an a la carte menu. Just grab what you like and however much you can of each item. Some artists go all in on one, and some spread it out. That's all up to you, and I personally don't think there's a right or wrong way. And I think that's why we get confused and lean into or rely on someone else's strategy. But what works for one artist may not work for another. So let's dive into this list. Here are all the ways that I can think of for a musician to make money. The first one is streaming. As we all know, streaming is probably the most popular way to earn money with your music right now. There are so many platforms that pay you for music streams, and the models tend to vary. As I mentioned earlier, sadly and overall, the rates are pretty low. So this is about getting those big numbers to make earning a living from streaming viable. There's not enough time in this video to go through the intricacies and problems with the current streaming models, but maybe in a different video. Playing live and touring is one of those tried and true ways of making a living as a musician. From playing local shows to going on tour, to locking in a regular gig at a bar or a venue, to weddings and events, it's a great way to get paid and to also build a strong fan base. Live shows also provide a great opportunity to sell merch. Thankfully, fans still buy physical stuff. I'm talking cassettes, CDs, and vinyl, which has made a huge comeback in the past few years. This also includes t-shirts, hats, pins, and collectible or exclusive items. But it's important to weigh the pros and cons of an investment in merch. If the demand isn't quite there, you might be storing boxes of t-shirts, CDs, and 7-inches in your basement for years. Next up is licensing, publishing, and sync deals. This is where we can earn money from granting rights to or writing original music for TV, film, radio, podcasts, video games, music libraries, and so on. It's something that I've been doing for years and I really enjoy it. And the way you get paid through this method varies. Mostly it's that mailbox money that comes through quarterly as royalties, collected by performance rights organizations or PROs like ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. And it can be really great money, or the saddest check that you've ever received. I'm talking pennies, literally. But sync deals, or the money that they pay up front, can sometimes be pretty good. And it's usually in addition to royalties depending on how you structure your agreements. Not only does licensing generate income, but it can also provide some pretty sweet exposure. For example, bands like the Lumineers, the Black Keys, MGMT, and Foster the People all had placements that help push their careers. And then there are platforms like Patreon, Kickstarter, or Substack, which allow fans to give one-time or ongoing support in exchange for perks, like exclusive content, early access to music, or personalized posts or updates. This approach can build a stronger connection between you and your fans and offer a steady income stream. It's also a pretty good way to gauge interests and get some insights into what resonates with your audience. Next up is the old standby, teaching. Teaching allows us to share our skills and knowledge with others while earning a reliable income. This can include offering private lessons, group workshops, or online courses. It not only provides financial stability, but I found that it also helps me sharpen my own skills and knowledge. It's also pretty rewarding and a great way to connect with aspiring artists and build community. Moving on, we have sponsorships and partnerships. These are great ways to collaborate with companies for mutual benefit, and they usually include free gear, financial compensation, and promotional support. For example, companies may sponsor videos, tours, or social campaigns in exchange for visibility and clout with your fans. Not only can this be a great source of income, but it can also boost your profile. This one probably doesn't need much explaining. We all know that influencers can make lots of money. Whether it's reviewing music-related products or creating educational content like tutorials or industry advice, this can generate income through ad revenue, sponsorships like we mentioned earlier, and affiliate marketing. I feel like grants are often overlooked as a source of income for musicians, but there's financial support to be had through arts organizations, foundations, and government programs to fund projects like touring, recording, and even healthcare. And the best part is that it's essentially free, although the applications and follow-up can be notoriously time-consuming. Do a simple search for grants for musicians to see what's available. As an engineer, I occasionally take on recording, mixing, or editing projects, which offer a lot of flexibility and a wide range of creative opportunities. Session work, especially remote session work, has grown significantly in recent years. This means being hired to play or sing on other artists' tracks, mixing or mastering their songs, or even ghostwriting or co-writing music. These opportunities not only help pay the bills, but they also keep your skills sharp and your creativity flowing. A great platform for this is SoundBetter, where you can offer your services and connect with clients from around the world. I've actually seen some of my favorite engineers on there recently. Another opportunity is selling samples or creating software apps or plugins. I've seen artists either selling loops or samples from recent releases, or creating original samples, loops, or sound effects to license out on platforms like Splice. Check out the artist Blank Forms as an example. Additionally, if you're into coding, you could create virtual instruments, effects plugins, or production software. Like the three of us at Supertape, the founders of Ableton actually created Live for themselves first. Check out the artist Akil Adams' plugins or Micah Frank's Pure Magnetic label for some inspiration. Or if you've got some engineering skills, follow what Kurt Ballou did and make your own line of pedals. So with all of these ways to earn money as a musician, making a living becomes more flexible. It's less about fitting into a single definition of success and more about embracing the opportunities that work for you. The music industry today is harder than ever in some ways, especially when it comes to making money from just selling music. But at the same time, it's filled with more ways than ever. Ways that didn't even exist a decade ago. Whether you're on stage, in the studio, teaching, building an online following, or creating something entirely new, the key is finding what fits your strengths, your interests, and your lifestyle. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, and that's a good thing. Everyone's journey is different, and the beauty of it is you get to define what success looks like for you. To me, making it isn't about a big break or a big paycheck. It's about carving out a fulfilling, sustainable career in music. And the best part is there are more ways than ever to do that. This is all just my opinion, and I'm sure I've missed some things. I would love to hear what's working for you. Let's start a conversation in the comments below. Thanks.